Hi friends and welcome back to the channel. Today is a beautiful sunny day and I decided to do one of my favorite things ever, which is vintage shopping and thrifting. I feel like that's what I do every weekend because I just love it. One of my favorite videos is when I went to Valencia and I tried as many shops as I could there. So today I'm gonna try to go to Williamsburg and go to as many shops as I can today. It's crazy. There are so many shops there in Williamsburg that have great vintage pieces. So let's head on over there. The first store I went to was this unassuming store called Raggedy Threads. If I had not known to come here, I might have walked right past it. The decor inside was really beautiful. They had definitely made sure to curate their pieces to match their decor, which I loved. It was very Western inspired. It gave a lot of 70s vibes, so think heavy fringe, plaid, and really great denim. They had their pieces curated so that each piece made sense with their theme, which I thought was interesting. They had workers in the back who were customizing pieces, which I thought was brand new. I'd never seen that before. They also had children's wear and lots of denim. A lot of the pieces were not my style per se because I'm not big on that kind of Western theme, but I thought that this place was super interesting, and I think it's cool that they upcycle and make their pieces like new. So I know that in the future, if I ever have a piece that I want to just bring back to life, I would bring it here. I spent some time looking through all of their pieces just to see if there's anything interesting, and there definitely is a ton of interesting stuff, even if it's not in your style, because it's so highly curated and the staff there is really friendly as well. The second store I went to was L Train Vintage. So I had been to several of their other locations before, but not this particular location in Williamsburg. As you could tell, right as you walk in, it's floor to ceiling covered with stuff. They have so much merchandise, and I was on a mission to find something in particular this day, and I didn't find anything that I was looking for here. In the front is where they had mostly women's section, and then in the back is where they had men's section. They had so many different purses and shoes, and it had something for everybody. I can honestly say they have the most random stuff in here. Things are pretty well organized. You can find what you're looking for, and each rack seems to have its own theme and purpose. A lot of like vibrant colors and jerseys, and a lot of stuff for men, which I thought was a little bit different because a lot of the stores that I go to, later in the day are for women. So this was really interesting to look at. The vibe was not it for me. Both the customers there and the people working there, I just was not feeling welcomed, so I quickly kind of left. The next store I went to was this little shop, and it's really cute. I can tell from the beginning like it was going to be interesting. The pieces here were so stunning. Every piece had an informational tag on how it was acquired, which I thought was really cool, and all of it was great condition, beautiful vintage pieces that were highly curated, and I could tell that there was a purpose for each piece. Like they fit a very specific kind of clothing. A lot of it was just like this really fun, vibrant colors, classy winter material because it's still March, so they had a lot of like winter stuff in their stock. Fun fabrics, fun different colors and patterns, and it was really interesting to look at. I would say price point is pretty high, but it makes sense considering these are all vintage pieces that were specifically curated, and there's a lot to look at here. If I was looking for winter pieces, I would have stayed a little bit longer. However, I just was looking for summer, so it was kind of a quick look around for me. I did see some pieces that I liked, but I knew that I would not be purchasing on this particular day. Okay, this next shop I had been to one time previously, and I knew I was going to love this place because of my previous experience. This place is huge. I can honestly say this is one of the biggest and most inventory I'd ever seen in my life. I can speed through this clip to show you that I'm just walking through the entire store. This store is massive. They have so much stuff. I can say like probably tens of thousands of materials. Anything that you are looking for exists in this shop, which is wild to me, and there is no way I could ever go through every single item in here because it's just overwhelming. They do have pieces that were made from like dead stock material, so not all of it is necessarily vintage stuff, but there is just so much amazing material. Like there's just so many things. I was particularly looking for like summer dresses and outfits, so there was just so much to look at. It's kind of honestly overwhelming when you first go in because everything under the sun exists here, and if you don't go in with the vision, you will get seriously overwhelmed by the amount of inventory. The organization here is a little bit confusing because they have so much inventory, so you'll see like they have dresses in the front, but they also have dresses in the back, but they do categorize things in groups, so you'll see like a rack of shorts and then like a rack of jean shorts and then like a wall of scarves. So things are categorized, but you might see multiples of the same categories. So you might have to look in several places to find similar things, but they are in groups of where they should be. I came here on a Sunday and it was pretty crowded. A lot of people are here, but the store is so big, I never felt like it was jam-packed or crowded. I can guarantee you will spend hours here. I try not to spend too much time here because I knew I had to go to other stores, but I love this place, so next time you're there, you might actually just see me going through the dress racks. Right next to the previous place is another unassuming shop that is just stunning. When I tell you that it is some of the most interesting pieces I had ever seen, a lot of it is like handmade, vintage, custom tailored pieces that are so beautiful, and next to it will just be like a vintage designer dress, and it is just a stunning collection. They'll also have like linens and old hats and things that you might have seen in a period piece in a drama somewhere, definitely not the 21st century. I in particular fell in love with these two dresses that I was so sad to leave behind. I had no occasion to wear them and both were not my size, so I could not wear them, so I could not take them, but I was so devastated giving them away to someone else. I would say on average things were around $100 for basic pieces and then several $100s for some of the really interesting pieces. So definitely not for everyone, but I do think a lot of these pieces are so stunning and unique that they are worth the price that they're listed at. Okay, at this rate, you can tell I'm pretty tired because my footage of places is not as great. I went to this little shop that is curated and it's pretty small. I could say like it was a very small space, but they had some designer items and things that are not necessarily my style, but maybe if I had the budget, I could kind of curate them into my own style. But I would say they had a lot of colorful pieces, fun things, nothing trendy. Everything here seemed to have been in style at some point, but not currently. They do have a lot of like high-end basics, which is really interesting. I don't think I am their target demographic per se, but they have a lot of fun stuff. And I would come back here maybe if I was looking for something on a nicer event or if I was looking for workwear that's like for an office. They had a lot of really pretty nice higher end stuff that I just like can't afford. The lady who worked behind the desk was actually really nice, but I felt bad that it wasn't really my style. So when it comes to like small shops like this, I kind of just take a look around as quickly as I can and then try to hop out. This is one of the most interesting stores that I went to. I had no idea what I was expecting when I walked past it because it didn't have any clothing in the front window, but you enter in and it's divided into men's and women's. It's labeled very clearly. And all of the pieces here, individual, unique. I would say price point is a little bit on the higher end. They did have in the back some designer pieces. So high-end brand names that I recognized, although, I don't know that many brand names, but designer pieces that were marked up quite a bit considering they're secondhand. But if you know the brands and you're interested in the item, I definitely think these are worth it. A lot of these vintage items were really great condition. I would say almost near perfect condition. So it was really cool. This shop was not on my list, but I just happened to walk right past it and there was a lot of people here. So I thought it was interesting to take a look at. They had so many fun pieces that were just so vibrant and eccentric. And then I looked at the prices. They are extremely expensive. I gotta tell you that these are high-end designer brands. A lot of them I had never even heard of before. But then I ended up looking them up later and they are rightfully priced considering they are vintage designer pieces. Because of that, they are some of the most exquisite and well-made pieces I had seen all day. Like, I'm talking high quality, old-fashioned, where people really only shopped here if it was luxury. Like, that's the kind of clothing that you saw here, and it was really fun to look at. I gotta say, it's not really in my price point, but it was so much fun, and the pieces that I saw were just stunning. Like, I fell in love with so many things that I absolutely could not afford, and I was just so excited to see kind of like the history of these beautiful designer artwork, basically, that you can essentially shop. So it was really fun to look here. I know for sure in the future that when I do have money, this is the kind of stuff I want to spend it on, but for now, this is not in my budget, but definitely worth a visit. This was the final shop of the day, and I gotta tell you, when I walked in here, I felt like I was transported into a different decade. The kinds of clothing that they have here, it reminded me a lot of like 1920s fashion, and then that kind of reimagination that happened again in the 90s of that 1920s fashion. You saw a lot of like lingerie and like bustier tops, beautiful colors that were eccentric and fun and wild. I think everyone that was shopping here was shopping for occasions, something that you would see like a flapper wearing, or beautiful designer pieces that were for special occasions. They did also have bridal appointments, which I thought was really cool if you wanted like a vintage bride outfit. Nothing in here really spoke to me besides this pink dress. I thought it was just so well made. The beading detail was beautiful. I think what else was really fun here was that the furniture matched the outfits. So the clothing that you saw was just one part of it. They had all this vintage furniture and really fun stuff, and that's why I really felt like it transported me back in time, because I just felt like I was shopping so many years ago. Again, the price point here was not cheap, but it was definitely worth it if you're looking for something of this style. They had so much stuff that was really fun, and I didn't try anything on here, but I kind of wish I had, because these are pieces I know that I might not ever see again because they were just so much fun. Okay, I'm filming this a little bit late because I was actually so tired on the day that I went thrifting that I came home and just like had to relax. I loved vintage shopping. This was actually so much fun, and I only hit a couple of the stores that I wanted to hit. There were actually so many more in the area of Williamsburg that I did not get to, so I might have to do a part 2 on this. But let me show you the one piece that I actually got. So on my thrifting journey, I used to over thrift and buy way too many things. Now I just tend to buy things that I know that I will really love. And so I did get one thing today, which is saying a lot because there were a lot of really beautiful things. And it is this vintage purple dress. It is long and it has a slit. It is, I mean, if you follow my channel, you know this is very much my style. Like, this is the kind of thing that I love to wear and have worn many times. But I love this like 90s look. I feel like it's giving very Phoebe from Friends, which is very much my style. And I love this piece. I'm hoping to do a lot more vintage shopping in the future. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!